guys, welcome back to The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. And guys, today we are going to be talking about how to modify a Zoom brush hog to catch more fish, to catch a lot more fish, because a brush hog is one of my favorite springtime lures to fish, especially like in April and May. I catch a ton of fish on it, flipping it, pitching it around shallow cover, but there's always a modification that I make on it that gives me some more bites. So we're going to talk about the modification, and then we're going to talk about the type of areas that you want to fish it in April and May in today's video here. And also guys, I'll put my Zoom brush hog link in the description of this video through my Tackle Warehouse link. If you guys would like to stock up on some brush hogs, using that link is a great way to support the channel here. Really appreciate that. And also guys, a real quick reminder that Solar Bat has still got the Easter sale going on right now on my Signature Series glasses, my RB2s and 3s, 30% off right now through Easter. I'll have the Solar Bat link in the description of this video if you guys would like to pick up a pair. And as usual, guys, thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button here to The Fishing Teacher. Really appreciate that. Okay, a brush hog is one of my favorite pitching and flipping baits for April and especially May. Now, you guys have heard me talking a lot about jigs over the past 3 or 4 months. I love to fish a jig when the water temperature is in the 40s and 50s, especially in the pre-spawn, and then again a little bit later when it warms up. But there's a window of time in April specifically when that water temperature is in the 60s that they'll bite a brush hog better than they will a jig. So I go to a brush hog a lot of different sizes. This is the full size. I use the baby brush hog and the mid-size one, but really the full-size one, this full-size brush hog is my favorite. If I can get them to bite the full size, I catch a lot of fish on it. So let me talk a little bit about the modification, and then I'm going to show you guys and give you some tips on how to fish it and the technique. Okay, first of all, how I modify this brush hog is the first thing I do is I'll cut the wings free on the side. And by cutting the wings free, a lot of people leave it, but I like to cut them because it gives that wing sort of, flaps down a little bit when you cut them free. And then the next thing you want to do is the flappers here. Take a pair of scissors and you want to cut usually 3 to 4 slices in them. It just depends on how good you can do it. I usually cut probably 3 in it. I'll show you when I get both of them done here. And what this is going to do is not only it breaks up that solid plastic to give you a better hook set, but it gives the bait a better look and action in the water. So you can see that I've cut the paddles there. I've cut them free like this. So that's my modification like that. It just gives the brush hog a lot more action in the water. And probably 90% of the time, guys, I do put a little bit of chartreuse or orange on the tail. And this is my favorite color right here. Out of all the colors, the brush hogs, this is called Watermelon Candy, and I catch a ton of fish on Watermelon Candy. It's probably my favorite color. You can't beat the old green pumpkin. I mean, green pumpkin is going to be as hard to beat. It works day in and day out. But if you haven't tried this Watermelon Candy, guys, it works really, really good. I catch a lot of fish on it here. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about how you want to fish it, what you want to look for, type of areas. First of all, you're Texas rigging it all the time. And one of the tips I'll give you on a full-size brush hog or any brush hog is the slip sinker weight in the springtime of the year. You want a light weight. So I use 99% of the time, I use a 3/16 ounce sinker, which is a lot lighter than what most people use. The 3/16 sinker on that brush hog, whatever it is, it falls perfectly for the mood and the personality of the bass in April. They love the fall of that. If you go to like a 1/2 ounce, I don't catch many fish on it, or even a 1/4 or 3/8. I love that 3/16. It works perfect with it. And I couple it up with a 3/0 straight shank Gamakatsu G Finesse worm hook. I'll put that link in the description too, that hook I use. Most of the time I'm pitching it and flipping it on 20-pound test Seaguar Vizex line and my Megabass flipping stick. That's the setup. Now, in the springtime of the year, this is a great bait to fish in and around all those places where the bass are spawning. And you don't have to have any cover to catch fish on it. Some of the best bags of fish that I have caught in April have been just basically casting that brush hog to the bank, just like I would a plastic worm. I just either make a long pitch or I'll get in those spawning type coves where I think those fish are spawning, and I'll just cast that brush hog to the bank and I'll just work it back like a worm or something. work it down in 2 to 10 foot of water. There's something about the slow fall and the size and profile of that bait, working it in around those spawning areas, the bass will hammer it. Now, if there is any cover, I will pitch it around a dock or some shallow grass or whatever. I've caught a bunch of fish on it, like flipping it around reeds and stuff. But I tell you that one thing a lot of people don't do is just fishing it just down bare banks. The same type of places where like everybody else is fishing a shaky head, I'll throw that Texas rig brush hog. And the person that got me on this was my buddy Aaron Martins. Figured this out. We were at an FLW tournament on Beaver Lake probably 25 years ago, and Aaron figured out that those fish wanted that, and the fish were spawning then, and he figured out that those fish wanted that big brush hog over a shaky head. Everybody was fishing a shaky head in that tournament. In fact, Shin Fu Kai eventually won that tournament on a shaky head, but Aaron and I wound up having good tournaments in that tournament, casting that brush hog in and around those same type of areas everybody was shaky head. And so really, really good bait to catch them in the springtime of the year. So you give it a try, guys. Just get you some watermelon candies, get you some 3/16 ounce sinkers, rig them up like I talked about them. And anytime that you're catching some fish on a shaky head or a wacky rig, like in those spawning type areas, just cast that brush hog around, see what happens. I think you'll be surprised. So hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.